Welcome back to your monster movie per day for October 2022. This is for October 28th, and it is Revenge of the Creature from 1955, from the 30 movie set. But they sent me this set because that other one had a disc replacement program, so this was it. However, while I was watching it, I was wondering if I was watching the right disc because it was fuzzy looking. All right, so as far as the Blu-ray goes, like I said, it is very soft. There's a few scratches and specks, but mostly it just seemed like it was a lack of resolution. So I'm not sure, like if they just didn't scan it at a very high resolution or what, but it was pretty fuzzy. It didn't just seem like every shot was out of focus. It just seemed like I said, there's a lack of resolution. The sound was okay. I didn't have any problems at any volume, and then also um, the underwater scenes seem to be an improvement this time around as far as how they looked. So the movie starts out with an expedition back to the Amazon to capture this thing by a couple of ambitious scientists, I guess. And you have this awesome same captain again, and he's just gotten done telling them how scary this creature is, and that 5 people died last time. So he's like, "You need to think about what you're actually doing," and then look what he does in true himself form here.
Think on it. Moonlight, gentlemen.
So yeah, he freaks him out and tells him to think about it, and then just starts laughing again as he leaves. So that's just, I love this captain. Boop. He has such a little part, but I think he's a big character. I really like him a lot. Aw, look at all the nature. Oh my goodness. Don't tell you know who about that. All right, so at about this point in the movie, just a couple minutes in, I just had the huge, serious urge to watch like an animated version of this, like a really bloody animated version of this. I just think that'd be really cool. Anyway, they have this music that plays every time the monster shows himself, and right here in particular, they just go back to back to back. It's like the little, I don't know if it's a trumpet or what, uh, but it's like the guy's like doing Marty McFly and like kicking over the amp and sliding on his back all over the place. I mean, it's pretty nuts. It's actually super annoying. I think it's supposed to be unsettling, and it is unsettling because they're just blasting it. Anyway, look at the underwater shots, nice and clean and clear. I think they were more well lit this time around, but they were a lot more detailed anyway. Even though the other one was 4K, but they look like they had better underwater lighting this time. So then this guy in his 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea outfit gets totally rocked under the water right here. Um, I think this fight looks awesome. I love when the sea creature like throws people into the mud. But yeah, he's he's full on beating this guy up down there. But after getting mauled, he just has a little sling on, so I guess he's fine. All right, and I don't know if these are fake fish or real dead fish or what, but these guys decide to plant a bunch of charges and explode them in the water, I guess to try and concuss the creature. It works. Look at all these fish. Oh, don't tell him. All right, and here's the introduction of the doctor who is kind and gentle to their experiment monkey, and so is a viable future love interest to whoever lady shows up. Also, look at this guy's hair. So one of the assistants calls him over, and I'm like, man, what's with this guy's hair? Look at this.
Doc, would you come here a minute? Sure.
All right, look at this hair. So I was like, what in the world? What is with that hair? And then I was like, wait a minute. Look at that profile. Look at those eyebrows. Look at that nose. Is this him?
You say that among the lower animals there were no natural enemies as long as they were well fed? Yeah, something like
You hear that voice?
Well, maybe so, Doc.
That's freaking Clint Eastwood. Look at him. Look how young and smooth he is. Look at those eyebrows. All right, and then randomly he's got a freaking mouse in his pocket that he forgot to feed to the people. I didn't know. I was like, is that gonna come around again? Like, is that a plot point? Like, what? Why are they showing this guy with a mouse in his pocket? But yeah, that is the Clint Eastwood bit part. It's almost like when I'm to say paging Mr. Herman or something. All right, so they got their concussed little monster, and this just reminds me of Jurassic Park 2: The Lost World, just how they're bringing this creature into the modern world, and they're just looks like everything's going great, and you just have this feeling like I don't think it's gonna go great. All right, so unsurprisingly, the creature wakes up and starts throttling people, but I don't think there's any wires attached here. As in, what I'm going to show you is I don't think it's a wire-related stunt. But look at the guy. I think this guy who plays this creature is freaking tough. I mean, he'd have to be to swim around in that, but watch what he does to this guy. That's, I mean, that's some heavy moving right there. All right, here's this lady. She's young and blonde and studies fish and is in the movie. All right, and then we have dolphins, who maybe this movie should be called Revenge of Creature, and also look at these neat dolphins, because I don't know if the like Ocean Institute, whatever, Crustacean Institute in Sausalito or whatever, had a contract that they're like, hey, look, you can't only show scary monster stuff. You got to show our dolphins with some happy music. So here's a sample. Aw, aw, look at that. Oh, they're feeding them, and look at that. They're so smart. Listen to that happy music. This goes on forever, forever. They just keep feeding these dolphins with this happy music. It just goes on and on. And then later again, these kids are on a date and they're watching dolphins, and it's just showing it. And it's just like, oh my gosh, we get it. We get the dolphins. All right, so then Hairline Professor here decides to make a move on the fish blonde single girl who's in the movie. All right, so he's trying to coax this lady to go to dinner with him, and they're walking away. And then Joe sees him and calls to him, and they start going away quicker. And she's like, aren't you going to wait for him? And listen to this quote. This is amazing. I'm going to turn it up.
Aren't you going to wait for him?
What? Let Mr. America cut into my cake? What's the matter, old timer? Pooh-bah?
Let Mr. America cut into my cake? Oh my gosh. It's like you just met and she's not your cake, dude. Anyway, then they kind of have like a little banter, like fighting over who's going to take her to dinner. And this guy's like, no, she's going to dinner with me. And he's like, looks at her and he's like, right? It's like, oh gosh, because this guy's trying to get her to go to dinner. Boop. All right, so these guys are still pretty fresh in their little dating world, and this dog shows up. And what she says makes me feel like she's friend zoning this guy hard. Listen to this.
Introduce you. Professor, this is Chris, my one true love and favorite boyfriend.
Pleased to meet you, sir.
I heard that and I was like, oh, friend zoned. Obviously, she's not dating the dog, but I'm wondering, I was like, oh, she's saying that to be like, I'm not looking for dates. But she's not. This is just an opportunity for her to show that she likes an animal, and for him to be nice to the animal, and for us to just love them both so much and want them to be in love. All right, and then we start to notice the monster getting more and more infatuated with her and just staring at her all the time. He might be lonely. But the people in these movies, they decide to just keep getting in the water with this monster, even though like every other time someone just gets horribly mangled. It's the same thing from the other movie. I feel like for a minute there in the movie, it's just like over and over and over of like doing these dives. And same thing with this one. And yeah, he is chained up, but they just like keep going down there over and over and over. And it's like, guys are asking for it with all that exposure. All right. So our main guy has a black Speedo on, and then this guy has like a lighter colored Speedo on, and said Speedo does not leave anything to the imagination. I'm not even going to show it on here. I was just like, oh my gosh. All right, okay, I know everything now. Thank you. So then these guys are laying on the beach talking about stuff, and she's like, everyone else I went to school with is already married and has kids. And then he's like, is that what you want? Anyway, then they kind of get in an interesting philosophical, small conversation about what you want and who wants what and what women want, and the fact that women have to decide to have kids, but men don't have to make a decision and all this. And it was just like, this is very old style and timely here. And then, of course, every conversation this guy does, boop, leads him to slowly go in for a kiss. He says, "I'd like to know what you want before I leave, because you've become important to me."
Very.
I mean, that's enough to get a kiss out of anyone. You just tell them they've become important to you. But here's a very weird line coming up here, and I think it only has one meaning, but I'm going to turn subtitles on for it.
Dog, you're a point killer.
A point killer. I don't think they're talking about sports points. All right, so of course these guys are repeatedly going under the water over and over, and one of the themes is that they're trying to teach him to understand commands. So they shock him and trying to teach him the word stop, and that's going to matter later at the end of the movie. Okay, and then comes, sadly, Joe's demise, but look at this. He just like pulls him down there and just shoves his face into the sand. Oh my goodness, that's rough. And then I guess he tickled him a little bit. Okay, so now that I'm standing this close to the TV, this part totally has a wire on it. But this is the point in the movie where I decide that it becomes like popcorn time. Check this out. All right, so he busts out and just starts running amok, and everyone's screaming and going nuts, and I'm just like, got this huge smile on my face. I'm like leaning forward. If I was eating popcorn, I would just be shoving it in my face because it's popcorn time. Look how strong he is. Look at that. He's such a strong primordial creature. And it hits the camera. Look at that cool shot. And look what he's creeping up on. The kids in the car kissing. It's like these monster movies love doing that. Do you know what else these movies love doing? The creepy hand from the side. Look at this. Is like the thing to do.
Break it up.
All right, so then we get a lot of skin from this girl, like underwear and underwear shots and everything, and that's all I'm going to show. But look at this: the monsters, Muppet monsters, standing there looking at her in the window. All right, so she goes into the shower in her undies to shower, while the monster's looking through the window, and then just look how the tension just builds here with kind of the shower scene. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's going to be like Psycho. All right, and then after the guy sitting in his apartment chain smoking and hears the most horrendous dog noises, he runs over to investigate and doesn't find the dog and gets the girl, and then they go on a walk, and he's like, don't worry about your dog. He's probably out doing dog stuff. And it's like, those were some crazy dog murder noises. Also, spoiler, it did get dog murdered, and it shows it. I mean, it doesn't show it, but you see the dog laying on the ground. So these guys go on their little love adventure on a boat with them and the captain, and the monster's just watching, and I'm like, when's he gonna pounce? Anyway, check this out. Look at these towels. Look at, they got little baby towels again. It's like, why are these towels so tiny? It's like, I guess I just live in the world of excess because I use like a larger towel. All right, so then these kids are at a party, and they go outside because it's hot in there to get some air, and then scientist girl starts giving a science love speech. She's basically just laying out love science, pretty much just inviting this guy to make a move, and he does. Check this out. All right, so close your eyes if you're uncomfortable, but we have got a saxophone playing in the background, and we've got these guys kissing, and this isn't just a normal face smash kiss of these movies. This is one step up. So you got the normal face smash, and then you got the tighter grab, and then the head wiggle. Look at that. All right, anyway, that just stood out to me because anytime they kiss is just to hold head still, but they were doing the head wiggle. And that is a serious 50s kiss. So this guy's just following and creeping and following. I'm just starting to feel like he's a super like jealous ex-boyfriend guy. In case you forgot, this movie was in 3D. All right, so the monster bags the dame, and then check this dive out. It's pretty awesome. And then dude's in the back taking his jacket and shoes off. Look at this dive. Yeah. All right, so then it turns into a big old police chase affair. But look at this. Look at this old-timey 50s Channing Tatum cop. Check this out. It's like 50s Channing Tatum. Look at that. Right? All right. Look at this. This has got to be one of the best shots. I love that. But these two guys probably should have kept driving. They see a body and they go to stop to investigate. It's not going to go well. Face grab. Watch the monster throw this guy. I had to rewind it and watch it like 3 times. Look at this. Let's do that one more time. And there we go. We've got the classic pose. All right, frame by frame. Look at him flying. All right, so this movie really likes to cut back and forth to the radio and announcing what's going on. This caught me off guard, but I thought it was funny. Listen to the detail he makes sure and mention about the girl that's missing.
So far, there's been no trace of Miss Helen Dodson, the pretty young scientist, kidnapped by...
He's like, they haven't found this girl yet. By the way, she's pretty. Just got to make sure you all know that. Spice it up. There it is again. Absolute classic monster shot. Listen to this random exchange between these two extras.
Hold it. I knew I saw something.
I can't make it out, but that's no gill man, Bub.
It's not driftwood either, Buster.
Bub and Buster. All right, so huge search party. Also, these are very clearly just citizens. And I think post-war America movies was like, yeah, we will all band together to overcome bad things. Because you have this whole crowd of civilians out at night with flashlights. However, none of them are armed. So here they are all standing there. The monster's standing on the other side of them. The lady's on the ground. If these guys were armed, they totally have a clear shot. So here he is. He's standing right over her. They got a total clear shot, but they're not armed. All right, so the monster animal conditioning comes into play here, where he's carrying her out to sea, and then this guy's like yelling at him to stop because that's what they trained him for. So he stops and turns around, and finally the armed police mocops show up. And then they let him have it. There we go. Bang, bang, bang. Get him. There we go. The people that we wanted to fall in love are together and safe. And the movie ends exactly how the other one ended, with the creature just floating, looking lifelessly away. There it is. Ooh, this has been a long one. Anyway, that was fun. I liked it. It's about middle of the road, maybe upper middle of the road for the monster movies. It definitely had the pull the popcorn out and all the action happen part. I was a little aghast that the ending was exactly the same, but maybe I shouldn't be surprised at this point. But yeah, that has been your October 28th monster movie. So stay tuned for October 29th. We've got Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy from 1955. So let me know what you think of these, and if you're watching them, if you think I should keep going. And yeah, appreciate hearing from you. Thanks. Bye.